Hi everyone, welcome to Discovering the Akashic Records with Joy Fuller. I hope everyone is well today. Beautiful day here in Adelaide. And so a few things today I wanted to talk about. The uses for the Akashic Records, and also I'm going to do a couple of readings today. I'm going to do the old Adelaide Jail here at Beverton, and I'm also going to have a look at an area in Oxford Street and College Road in Sydney, Hyde Park. I did a reading for a lady a couple of days ago, and that area was quite an interesting area for her, and I thought I might go in and see what I can find out. So, hi Karen, how are you? Any questions would be great, and feedback is always welcome, because it's good to have that interactive energy, I guess, around what we do here on the Spiritual Events Directory. So let's just get into it. The Akashic Records, as I've spoken about, I guess, over the last couple of sessions, now pretty much can be used for a lot of things. We can go into it and open the records, our soul record, and work on ourselves. That can be heavy, it can be light work. We can use it to manifest. Hi everybody, hi Sally. And we can use it to look into our ancestral patterns, past lives. We can do healing in there, etc., etc. We can even just sit in the records and paint and create and write, listen to music, have a cup of tea if you've had a really, really bad day at work and you just need to raise your vibration. So my understanding is that records vibrate at such a high frequency that as soon as we even open the records and we'll sit in there, already our vibration has been raised, which makes us feel a lot better. So yeah, if you're feeling a bit flat, it is something that you do quite easily. Okay, so I've got a class booklet here that I've put together for when I do my classes, and I just want to have a quick read of the subject around energy and healing. So the definition, of course, when we talk about healing, so a lot of us that work with the Spiritual Events Directory, we have some kind of expertise in healing of some kind, or connection, or whatever it may be. So even if you're a medium, you will obviously be doing readings for someone, and that information that they get can help them heal with their grief from a loved one. So we're all usually about something to do with enlightenment, healing, raising our vibration, making us feel better about ourselves, and healing ourselves and finding our own enlightenment. So the definition of healing really is to make whole. And it's kind of the process of making us feel whole or becoming sound and healthy again. So it implies that we're sick at some level. So we might be physically sick, and have some kind of disease. And of course, a lot of people, we talk about disease being dis-ease, so at ease with something within our body. And there's a lot of talk now about being able to heal ourselves, and I talk a lot about our own negative self-belief systems and values, and how that actually affects the vibration of our DNA and our cells on a cellular level. So it is incredibly important to try and remain as positive as possible and love ourselves. So within the records, of course, we're always seen as essentially pure and sound, because the records, and I've been working in the records now for about 9-10 years, is that our souls are so strong. I can't see how they would be affected or broken or become bad or anything like that. So it's our external side to us that is broken more. And yes, our souls have journeys and have lessons to learn and things like that, but I don't think our soul can, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that our soul can become sick. I think it vibrates at too much of a high frequency for that to be possible. But our physical bodies affect us so deeply. So the other thing too is with the healing within the records, again, it goes just back to that vibration. So the records vibrating such at a high frequency, healing comes naturally. So even if you were to go into the records and sit there and not work on yourself, you would still be healing at some level because of that frequency. Hi everybody, I'm just having a quick look at seeing if I need guidance. Yes, well, we can. Next week, what I would like to do, if people are interested, is I'm happy to do a live reading. Probably be 15-20 minutes. If you wanted to send me through a message to say you're happy to do that. Now, just be aware though that things might come up that might make you a bit upset or cry maybe. So, but it may not. So it really depends on what I get from the records. But I'll be happy to do a couple of readings online for free, of course, as part of the Spiritual Events Directory Experts Live. Now, ancestral patterns is another area we can work on within the records. So an ancestral pattern would be a few things that can be part of our DNA, and it also can be something that's come down genetically through our ancestors. So I might have an ancestor that has some kind of pattern that has come down into me, and I know a lot of you would probably oh, okay, great, Michelle, that'd be good. We can sort that out. So message me later and we'll do that for next week if that's okay. So for example, and I know a lot of us probably don't want to admit this, but you know, as I get older, I see a lot of my mother's and father's ways and habits within me. And that's probably because, you know, I grew up and so I take on board their you know, bits of their character. But there are other things that are different. So whether that's me or it's an ancestral thing, I don't know. So the good thing about, I guess, ancestral patterns and understanding them is that once we heal them within ourselves, it stops with us. I don't have any children. I've chosen not to have children in this lifetime. My children are my pets. But those of you out there who have children, from an ancestral pattern point of view, it's perfect for you to go in and heal those patterns, because what happens then is they don't get passed down. So then if you would have children, those patterns that may be negative or not very helpful for you as an individual would cease with you, which is something that is excellent. So some other things, so ancestors usually past generation, we talk about that, relatives, direct descended families, members. But other ways of I guess hooking into the ancestral pattern kind of side of things would be marrying, like having a relationship, getting married into a family. So you're bringing two families together, and also being adopted is another way of having that ancestral patterns come out within us or in the family group. And we also talk about the fact that if you are married and then you get divorced, it doesn't mean that those ancestral patterns for that group have been healed. So you might get married, get divorced, and you still have some kind of karma or lessons that are going on in the background that need to be looked at. So that can still be like an ancestral pattern. So what we say here is that the Akasha holds all past and present occurrences and future probabilities. Doesn't mean that they'll happen, but there are future probabilities. So it makes sense to understand that these inherited problems that we have and to heal them so that future generations will be unaffected. So again, it's that, you know, yes, we've got stuff that's been passed down, and one of the most amazing things is to look up your ancestry and find out where you come from. And I know that my dad's side is Scottish, and mum's side is English, Irish, and I was fortunate enough to be in Tipperary in Ireland in February, and I know that we came from that area over there, so I decided to check out cemeteries while I was there, and I had to have a bit of a laugh because I come from a very small country town in New South Wales, and I was walking around this cemetery in Care in Tipperary County in Ireland, and here were all these surnames of people who were my relatives, my neighbours, my friends, and I was just amazed that, you know, halfway around the world, and there's these people that have the same name in this little small country town in New South Wales. So, you know, it went right back. So, and again, I maybe I have memories still in my cells from my ancestors. So that's something that's really, really interesting, and that's really, it's fun. It's fun to go there and visit that. The other thing that we do within the records, and this is just one of the elements that we can do, is past lives. Now, past lives is really, really exciting. We can go in and look at past lives, and some of those lives can be truly, some can be horrifying. I've had a past life where, you know, I lost my whole family to the Black Plague, and I was so devastated that I basically became a drunk, and I was in the gutter, and that's how I lived my life out because of the grief that I suffered from the loss of my family. And then I've had other past lives where I was a sage in a small Japanese village, and I was very, very old, and I had a beautiful wooden cane stick, all carved with beautiful creatures on it, and all, I can remember it vividly, and it was kind of like symbolic for me, this beautiful cane, and it would help me get around the village. So people would come to me and ask for wisdom and guidance and bits and pieces like that, and it was just such a beautiful past life, and sometimes I go back to that and can visit that. So I teach my students to always, when they're in a reading or for themselves or doing a reading for another client, to always ask if there's any past lives that are hanging around in this lifetime that might be affecting what's going on with them here today. Sometimes there are, sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's a combination of things. Sometimes there can be 2 or 3 past lives that have played the same pattern over. And then we can go back and visit those past lives and find out, you know, how it and why it's affecting that person today in this lifetime. So it can be a lot of fun as well, and I do have a lot of clients come to me and say, I want to know all about my past lives, and I sort of have to have a bit of a laugh and say, look, it doesn't work like that. We'd be here for years talking about that. I said, but also the records seem to know what past lives to talk about when people come for a reading. So if you become a Akashic practitioner and you're working in that space, yeah, you won't get everyone's past life, you'll just get the ones that are important for that particular reading on that particular day, which again, I think is amazing. So thank you everyone for being here. Please ask questions. Karen, your mum needs urgent healing. Okay, well, we can have a chat. Well, if you've got some questions for me, please message me later, because some of that is probably quite personal, and we need to have a little bit of a talk about that. So, so with past lives, we would go in and ask for that past life to come forward, and then we use a certain process. I mean, I use Linda Howe's pathway prayer process, but she has another process which talks about where you, as the client, would explain to me what's going on in your life. And so a bit of a discussion, just like we're having today. So I don't do channeling. I don't have to do any amazing sort of rituals or anything. It's pretty much like just almost like a counselling session type thing. And then we will look at your story, what's going on with you. It could be a pattern. You might keep meeting the same kind of person, you know, and having that relationship. You know, I've had clients in the past who seem to always go out with the same kind of man, you know, alcoholic or abusive or something like that, or you know, other people can't have children, and I want to know why, and that's a past life type thing. And then we go in and we look for what we call causes and conditions. So we try and work out what's happening and why all that is happening. And then we go in and look for the soul level truth. You know, why is this happening to me? Is it about my spiritual growth, my soul growth? And usually that's a bit of an aha moment, and that's where a lot of the healing kind of is supercharged and takes place. So from a practitioner point of view, I will quite often get snippets of what's happening with that client even before I open their records. And I feel that's just because I've worked in the records so long that they're more than happy to send me the information. So, you know, a couple of days ago I did reading for a lady, and I just had these feelings about what was happening, and sure enough, that's what a lot of the reading was about. So she's pretty spot on. Again, you know, past lives, could be, you know, could be problems hanging around, all that kind of stuff. So I want to clear those and heal from those and move on from them. So it's really important that we look in that space. Now, what have we got? We've got 15 minutes. So one of the things, one of the readings I'm going to do today, and I've been quite hesitant to do this, but I just felt that I was probably more comfortable with doing that today, and I don't know why, so we'll find out. When you're working within the records and, you know, you're taught to be a practitioner, one of the things I try and teach my students is to really trust their intuition and trust how they feel about things. So today I'm going to open the Akashic records of the old Adelaide jail. It's at Beaverton here, just outside of the Adelaide CBD. It's quite an old jail, and it's got a bit of a history. And I used to have women there as well that were hung. I've been there a few times on some ghost tours, and there's a few areas of that jail that I just don't like at all. You know, you go there, you can feel the presence, and the hair on your arm stand up, and it's like, just get me out of here. So I have been very reluctant to open the records of that, but I will shortly. The other area is an area in the corner of Oxford Street and College Road, Hyde Park in Sydney. And again, that's just because I did a reading for another lady this week, and there was some stuff happening there for her around that space. And this is just a good example to show you that you can use the records for a whole bunch of stuff. So her reading was really interesting. There was some stuff happening back there way before civilization of that area, and I want to go in there and just see what I get by opening my records for that particular area, and also that the records areas for that space. So that'll be really good. Okay, so let's get started. Again, I'm just using the pathway prayer process. And while I'm just finding that, I've got a couple of classes coming up if anyone is interested. I've got Brisbane coming up, so that's just a beginner's class on the 3rd and 4th of August. I'm still trying to find a venue up there. I'm still looking at the moment, so if anyone knows of a great venue, please message me. I'll be going to Perth September the 7th and 8th over there to do the beginners class, and also I have some lovely people in rural New South Wales and around Wagga Wagga who would like me to come and do a class there. So I'm going to try and do that class in October, which will either be the 12th and 13th or the 19th and 20th. So October I'm hoping to do some rural areas. So Wagga Wagga is one place. I'll also be doing the Northern Beaches, so Port Macquarie, in and around that area. So if anyone's interested in attending any of those beginners classes, let me know. So that's just learning to open and close the records for yourself and also reading other people. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of practice, and by the time you leave, you definitely know how to work in the records. Okay, so let me just have a quick drink. All right. Karen, I'm just seeing that thing about your mum, so just message me and we can have a chat about that. Michelle, yep, reading, that'd be lovely. Okay, everyone, so using the pathway prayer process through the Linda's book. So we will do the old Adelaide jail first. Stay tuned. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth as it is revealed by our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. O Holy Spirit of God, help me to know the old Adelaide jail at number 18 Jail Road, Beaverton, South Australia. In the to see myself through the eyes of laws and records and enable me to share the wisdom of the master. So what I'll do now is just say a certain part of that silently, and then I'll come back and we'll open the records and see how we go from that. So. Okay, so the records are now open. So that's the records of the jail. Now, just a little bit on that, you don't have to be at the jail or the place where you're going to do the records. You can do a remote reading. So I will do a remote reading today for the jail, and then I will go on a nice day and I'll actually be closer to the jail and film that on video, and you can see the difference or the similarities that we've got for me being a remote reading and then doing the reading actually at the jail. I'm not sure I want to do that, but anyway, we'll see. Okay, so some of the questions, I just want to get a sense or a feeling about the jail and see how it feels for me. Okay, so I'll explain what I'm getting. I'm a very visual person, so I get a lot of pictures. So they've shown me a picture like at the front of the jail, and I'm quite a distance back, so I can see the whole complex. But over the jail, oh, I'm getting okay, I'm getting a little bit of shivering, like a little bit of sensitivity. So the jail is before me, and I see this big dark cloud over, almost like a storm cloud over the jail. It feels very oppressive, very dark. And around the jail, the outside of the jail, because the jail has got big stone walls, the energy is very, very light. So it's really an intense area, small area, or just the jail area that's got this feeling. Okay, I knew this would be interesting, but this is very interesting. So now I'm being given visions of, and I don't feel scared, and I know I'm not being affected energetically, so there's no reason for me to be concerned that I might pick up anything bad, negative, evil, anything like that. So I feel totally safe, very confident in what I'm seeing and reading. So again, when you're in the records and you're doing something like this, don't be afraid that you're going to pick up a nasty entity or something evil, because you're in a safe space. So I'm getting some visions of, I would say, souls that are very conflicted. They seem to be in pain. Their faces are very torn and stretched, and it's like they're screaming, and it kind of reminds me of that painting, The Scream, that kind of visual, and there's a lot of them. So, and my whole body now is tingling and goosebumps, and yeah, so there's a real reaction here. Whew, and I'm asking the records, you know, like, what do I do with this information? Is it to release this energy? And they're saying to me this will take quite a lot of work. There's a very dense, fixed point within the jail that needs work. So they're showing me they're showing me like a block of ice with a little, like you're chipping away at it. So my interpretation of that would be a little bit at a time. So to chip away at the jail's energy, this oppressive energy that I'm picking up, a little bit at a time. So, the goosebumps are like, oh. Okay, so like sort of almost work on it a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. So I understand, I get that. So just kind of release a little bit, because it's incredibly. Okay, so they're showing me now that it's kind of like the light, the white light, this beautiful light of love and compassion, and is trying to get into this oppressive energy, and it's bouncing off. So this, it's almost like maybe like a dome would be the best way to describe it for you. This dome of dark energy over the Adelaide jail that just reflects and bounces off the love and compassion. So I can see now why it's chipping away. You have to chip away at it. So, okay, and some information I just got then was this would be a good exercise for my certified practitioners that are, the people that I've certified and taught to do as a group. So that would be a great exercise then for me to say to the group, we need to go in and work on releasing that energy from the jail. So I'll definitely do that. That's a great idea. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask about for the jail, the Adelaide jail, if you're based here in Adelaide? If not, think of a question, I can ask it. Oh. I'm asking them what I can do today to help shift that energy. Okay, so what they're saying to me is to visualize that dark cloud dissipating, becoming. It seems like it's like I said, that dome, and it's over the jail. To sort of flatten the dome down and spread it out. So even though it goes over the jail and past the jail walls, it makes it less dense. So it's almost like pushing it down, it spreads out. So I'm kind of visualizing that in my mind, push down, spread out, push down, spread out. And it kind of just loosens the threads they're telling me of that energy. I tell you, these goosebumps are crazy. So what else do they want to tell me? And I'm talking to what we call these light beings within the records. So I talk to them, they're called the masters and the teachers. So I always just say, masters, teachers, and loved ones, what it is that you would like to tell me about this particular area. So you don't have to close your eyes. I close my eyes just because it helps me to see what they're giving me, but you don't have to. Okay, so the other information I'm getting is, so the Adelaide jail had male and female prisoners. The information I'm getting is from a woman in a white dress. Now I know that the last lady that was hung there for, I think, poisoning her husband, is often seen there as a ghost. And in fact, my cousin actually has seen her quite a few times when she goes jogging past there. Now, she has come forward, which is interesting, and she's just telling me that she feels very oppressed there, that she wants to go but can't kind of disconnect energetically. Okay, and she's telling me that she didn't do it. She didn't, excuse me, she didn't poison her husband. Okay, so I guess how do I respond to that? Because it's almost like a mediumship type thing. So I cannot change that. It's a long time ago. To acknowledge that from her. Okay. So there's a little bit of a sense of anger there about, you know, being hung because she, so supposedly murdered her husband. So I just acknowledge that for her, and she seems to be a little bit happier that she kind of has been able to express herself, and didn't really expect that to happen there, but that's really interesting. I will go back and have a look at that from a historical point of view to see if she did actually say that, because all I know is that she was hung because she murdered her husband and poisoned him, but I don't know much more about that particular event. So what I generally do when I'm doing an old place, something like this, is I don't look it up. I don't look up any information, any historical record of it until after I've done the reading, because that could influence what I'm getting. So I'm just asking if there's anything else that they would like to ask me. Okay, so they're saying to me that working on that energy to do with the Adelaide jail will help the energy in Adelaide tremendously. It's almost like the energy there is holding Adelaide back energetically. And Adelaide is a very interesting place in that quite a number of people have told me that if you have a new concept or a new idea and you want to try it out to see if it will work, the best place to try it out is in Adelaide. If it works in Adelaide, it'll work anywhere, just because of the energy and I think maybe the ley lines and all that, something to do with all of that. So that will be really incredibly interesting, and I'll keep you posted on that. So I will ask my certified practitioners on their Facebook group to do that as an exercise for me, to spend some time working on releasing the energy there at the jail, and we'll see if that then can be released, and then the impact that it might have on Adelaide as a whole. I just feel that it's holding us back as a city on a lot of levels, energetically wise, really trusting us and believing in ourselves as a city and as a community. And they're saying to me, if we can work on that, then it'll be a big benefit to Adelaide. That would probably that would kind of come into our own community, our own self. And I guess that's really interesting, because I guess cities have their own collective consciousness, their own energy patterns. Melbourne is different to Sydney. Sydney's different to Brisbane, and so on. So Adelaide would have its own energy as part of that. Wow, that's really good. It's not what I expected. But anyway, I'll close up because then I'll just chat about what I actually expected. Okay, I would like to thank the masters, teachers, and loved ones for their love and compassion. I would like to thank the Lords of the Akashic Records for their point of view. I would like to thank the Holy Spirit of Light for all knowledge and healing. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. Now, I didn't want to tell you this first because it could have influenced my reading. Now, I've been to the jail a couple of times, which I did say. And I have to tell you, the place freaks me out. It's got such a terrible energy in some aspects that, you know, you can feel the presence of somebody, spirits or whatever. And some areas of the jail, it's just, there's nothing. It's perfect. It's fine. But there's certain cells and certain areas of the jail that definitely have some kind of spirit attached to it, some energy attached to it. And to be honest, I don't like going there. Yeah, it's a bit of fun to go on ghost tours and things like that, but you know, there's usually something behind all of that. And I was incredibly reluctant to open the records of this particular site, feeling that I would maybe connect with these spirits. I didn't get that, only the female, the woman, but she was not nasty, she was not angry, none of that, just wanted to say her point of view that she didn't do what she did. So I got the general overview or the feeling of the jail from an energy point of view, that dark cloud. So totally different to what I expected I would receive, which seems to be the case. Yeah, so if you do places, try not to have an expectation. I know you kind of do because you hear stories and stuff, and I've experienced that with the jail. But yeah, it's always something different to what you could have kind of expected. And that's happened a few times to me now. And as you know, you would have been listening to me, and that I went to Europe in February and did a lot of castles and dungeons and things like that, and expected a whole range of things, and it didn't pan out like that at all. So I'm learning to have, I guess, what I would have, or say, a human feel for it, like expectation from a human perspective. But then when I actually get what I get in the records, it's very much an energy, spiritual type answer to questions, which is really interesting. So if anyone has any questions about that, please feel free to pop it on the side. Now, the other area I would like to open is the corner of Oxford Street and College Road in Sydney. I think that will do the trick because it's an intersection. I shouldn't need numbers, but it is in Hyde Park. And this one's going to be very, very interesting to see if it pairs up to the reading I did earlier in the week. So again, using that process. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth as it is revealed by our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. The Holy Spirit of God, help me to know. So in here, in this particular process, we say, help me to know the corner of Oxford Street, or the intersection of Oxford Street and College Road, Hyde Park, Sydney. To see the intersection of Oxford Street, College Road, Hyde Park, Sydney, through the eyes of the Lords of the Records, and enable me to share the wisdom and compassion that the Master's teachers lesson of the intersection of Oxford Street / College Road, Hyde Park have for that area. So then I say a little bit silently, so I'll just do that now. Okay, the records are now open for that particular area. So I just want to see how that feels. Okay, so straight away I received a picture of, I guess way to describe it would be like a tornado, like that, like an energy tornado going up like that. So a vortex, energy vortex. Lots and lots of tingling in my body, goosebumps, a lot of whoop, and it's making me feel a little bit sick in the stomach. So to me, that means that that area is some kind of energy portal or energy gateway or something like that. And I'm just sort of asking, you know, what is it? What is it about? What is it for? Okay, so now I'm being shown a picture of the Earth from space. So I'd be sitting out in space and looking back at the Earth, and they're showing me that there are these energy vortexes all over the planet, and they're swirling out from the Earth out into the universe or our galaxy. And I'm asking what that's about, and they're saying, well, that is what gives us life. That is what gives the planet life, energetic life. So it's vibration. Okay, and so each one has its own code, a unique energy or frequency. So I'm asking what the Sydney one is about. Okay, so now what they're showing me is again that picture of the planet. What I'm seeing though is those energy vortexes that come out of the planet. There's also ones that are going in from the galaxy or from our universe. So it comes out of the space in and drills down into the Earth, and then comes out. And then there's two, so one going in and one coming out. So it's always a pair. That's interesting. I've never done any of this before. So they're saying the one that comes into Australia, it comes in through Uluru, so through central Australia, around Olgas and Uluru, Mount Connor, in that area, into the Earth. And then it comes out through Sydney, in this particular intersection. So they're saying comes into the heart of the planet and out. So, wow, that's very cool. The heart of our planet, the energy that comes from wherever it comes into our planet through the middle of Australia, through the rock, through Olgas in that area. Okay. Not much more. I always ask that there's more to come. So what is this? And why do I feel sick with this? Okay, so they're saying I feel a little bit ill because of the frequency and vibration. But also they're showing me that when this energy vortex goes into the earth through Central Australia, that's love and compassion. And when it comes out through this section in Oxford Street College Road, it's kind of like it's the grief and the negative energy coming out through that area. Because there's always a balance, they're saying. There's always got to be, love and compassion and the fear and the grief and stuff. There's always balance. So that area is, okay, so geographically a perfect area because of the rock, sandstone rock. So the rock allows a structure, but is also quite soft. So allows that vibration to come out. Well, I didn't expect that. So again, look, if you're going to dabble in the records, have some fun. Like I just didn't know what to expect with this. And, I just still learning quite a lot. I learn all the time when I'm doing readings. It never fails to amaze me at just what information is available. And because I've been doing it for so long, I just trust what I get. So what's really interesting is that the reading I did for this particular person a few days ago is a little bit similar to what I'm getting, but I'm getting a whole lot more, more of a bigger picture, understanding how that kind of flows now, whereas she was getting more for her side of it and what it meant for her. But we both readings do talk about it being some kind of energy portal or energy gateway. So that was exactly the same, but they've shown me a whole different range of things, which is pretty cool. So I'll have to give her a call and tell her. So look, there's some of the things that you can do. Let me just close up. I'll probably go back there and look at that a little bit further as well. So I'd like to thank the Masters, Teachers and Loved Ones for the love and compassion. I'd like to thank the Lords of the Akashic Records for their point of view. And I'd like to thank the Holy Spirit of Light for all knowledge and healing. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. So, that's some of the cool stuff you can do. So if anyone anyone's watching this and they live in Sydney and they would like to do some work within the records and they've been working or practicing or just having a little bit of fun, and I've got a couple of students over there because I did a course over there a couple of weeks ago. So guys, if you're listening and girls, go and have a look at this area. So that was the corner of the intersection of Oxford Street and College Road, Hyde Park. Yeah, you go and see what it feels, how it feels. Have a work there. Just open the records. Maybe just tune into some of your own stuff, depending on what kind of work you do, and see what you get. So that's just a couple of examples today for you. Any questions, anybody, that you want to know about? We've got a few people there I need to probably have a bit of a chat to. I know it's the afternoon and not everyone is able to come on, they're working, etc. So next week, I'll probably do a few more readings because I think it's good for you to see the information that you can get from the records. there's, I guess, so much more to talk about and to discuss. And yeah, so it's almost time. We've got a little bit longer to go, but I might close up. Oh, the other thing too is always really good. So if you are working in the records or before you work in records, it's always good to do a little meditation just to align you, and that kind of seems to supercharge the energy flow. And then after this, I will go and finish my cup of tea and probably just go outside and hang out with my dogs because I need to ground myself. So whatever work you're doing or whatever work that you, energy work or any kind of work like that, always have some kind of ritual that where you nurture yourself and look after yourself once you've worked in that area for a little while. So if you're doing readings or whatever, most of you would know that. But if you're learning or just wanting to know and just dabbling, it's a very, very good idea to have some kind of ritual after you've finished whatever you're doing, just to ground and to let go or whatever it is that you've been working on. It's just good practice. Okay, so that's probably it for me today. We're nearly there. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I wanted to talk to you about today. So again, I've got those classes coming up. Please check out my website and Facebook page. Love to have some of you along. We had such a great class in Sydney. It was pretty awesome and great bunch of students who are now certified practitioners. So, you know, if you're looking for someone to do a reading for you and you want to do it face-to-face, please send me a message as well, because I can give you the names of some of the people in Sydney that have done it, and also there's a couple of people in Canberra that have done it. I've got quite a few people here, of course, in Adelaide that's done the class. So this year I hope to get to every capital city and get a class in, and some of the rural areas as we spoke about earlier. So, okay, so that's it for me this week. Please message me if you've got any questions, and Karen, I can have a chat to you about your mum. Michelle, if you want to do a reading next week, I'd love to. I just need to chat to you about how we set that up. And that's it. So look, guys, girls, have a great weekend. It's beautiful here in Adelaide. It's gorgeous, but it's going to get a bit cold and wet tomorrow. So stay safe. Happy spiritual development. Trust your intuition. And yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you next Friday at the same time. Bye.